Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into one of the most pivotal and, frankly, perplexing crimes in American history, the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy.
You know, this single sentence from our source material really just nails the whole puzzle we're about to get into. On the surface, it seems so simple, right? But as you're about to see, the more you look, the stranger this whole picture becomes.
All right, so first up, let's just lay out the official story of what happened on that chaotic night back in June 1968.
So, picture this. Senator Kennedy has just won this huge primary, putting him on a clear path to the Democratic nomination. The energy is electric, but that path, it was brutally, tragically cut short in a crowded, chaotic hotel pantry.
And right away, the case looked, open and shut. You had a lone gunman, Sirhan Bashara Sirhan, who was grabbed right there on the spot, a .22 caliber pistol in his hand as Kennedy lay wounded. It seemed like a terrible but solved crime.
But here's where things start to get really weird. Because almost right away, the physical evidence from the crime scene started telling a completely different and much stranger story. And boom! Here's the first huge problem. Maybe the single most critical piece of evidence that just blows up the official story. Every witness said Sirhan was in front of Kennedy, but the autopsy, it proved the fatal shot came from point-blank range, from behind him. It's a physical impossibility for Sirhan to have fired that shot.
Okay, so Sirhan's revolver, it held 8 bullets, max. In the official story, all 8 were fired, hitting Kennedy and 5 other people.
But, and this is a huge but, investigators found evidence of at least 13 shots fired in that tiny pantry. They found bullet holes in ceiling panels and door frames that just couldn't be explained by Sirhan's little 8-shot pistol.
So what did the authorities do with all these contradictions? Well, this is where it gets even stranger. The LAPD just said, oh, those are just dents from food carts. And then, get this, they destroyed the physical evidence. The ceiling panels, the door frames, gone, making any real future analysis totally impossible. That act alone has been a huge red flag for decades.
So it's not just the forensics that don't add up. The witness testimony pointed to some other mysterious people at the scene who were, for some reason, never really looked into.
In all that chaos, you had at least 5 different people saying they saw this mysterious woman in a polka dot dress running from the scene. One campaign worker even heard her yell, almost happily, "We shot him! We killed him!"
So you've got this woman who was seen with Sirhan before the shooting and then flees. But that's not all. You also have Thane Eugene Cesar, a security guard who was standing right behind Kennedy, exactly where that fatal shot came from, and he admitted he drew his own .22 caliber pistol, the same caliber that killed the senator, though he always claimed he never fired it.
All right, let's turn to the man himself, Sirhan, because honestly, he might be the strangest part of this entire case.
Usually assassins want to take credit, right? They have a cause. But Sirhan, to this day, he says he has zero memory of the shooting. As our source material says, he doesn't know why he did it, or even if he did it. And when they looked at his notebooks, it wasn't some grand political manifesto. It was just bizarre. They found pages of what's called automatic writing, where your hand moves without you consciously telling it to. It was just this repetitive, trance-like scrawl, which suggested it was more of a compulsion than a plan. So you've got the memory loss, the weird writing, witnesses saying he looked like he was in a trance. It all leads to one massive question. Was Sirhan even in control of his own actions? And that question, well, it opens the door to the most disturbing theory of all.
And that theory is that Sirhan wasn't the killer at all. He was a patsy, a tool in a much, much bigger plot.
Basically, the idea is that Sirhan was a real-life Manchurian candidate, someone brainwashed or hypnotized to become an assassin without even knowing it. The goal wasn't for him to kill Kennedy, but to create a massive diversion while the real killers struck from behind.
And when you look at the evidence through this lens, it all starts to click into place. You've got the total amnesia, you've got witnesses saying he looked totally serene and disconnected. The automatic writing seems like a form of hypnotic programming. And some even think he might have been firing blanks just to cause a panic. The whole thing paints a picture of Sirhan as a decoy, not a killer.
And if he was programmed, who was the programmer? Well, researchers have pointed a finger at a guy named William Joseph Bryan, a hypnotist who supposedly had ties to the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control projects. Now, Bryan always denied it, but he later died under some pretty mysterious circumstances himself.
So it all comes down to this. If Sirhan was just a decoy, then who really killed Robert F. Kennedy? After all these years, that simple story of a lone gunman has completely fallen apart, and we're left with this much deeper, more chilling question. The case is officially closed, but the evidence, well, it suggests the real secret of what happened that night wasn't locked away in a prison cell. Maybe, just maybe, it was locked away inside a man's mind.